Today's podcast is super awesome. We had Jenna Curry Way, who is the owner of Port City Young Professionals, sit right here across from me and tell exactly how she built what she built. It is a story of living in a basement all the way to what she's doing today. She is the connector of connectors right here in Wilmington. You got to watch this. What's awesome about you is even though you do split your time, you're still here full time supporting businesses around here. You care so much about.
I'm stealing that.
It's
true.
It's yours. Hey, all I ask is this is all I ask. The very first time you quote me, after that, it's all yours.
No, I think it's very important to give people credit when they have a great quote. But yeah, that's really true. It's couldn't be more true. And I'm supporting businesses, not always here in person, but I'm always supporting businesses here.
Yeah, I mean, we just got back from lunch and you were just like, well, have you thought about this? Because I want to make sure that the business owners here, they have this set up. And I want to make sure that the people that, if I say this, I want to make sure that it's the best thing for them because of this. And so you can see that authenticity in you, that what you do is far beyond anything about money or anything like that. It's like you care about business owners and making sure that they have the best shot to succeed, which is why you made Port City Young Professionals.
That's very true. I think I'm also very good at anticipating what they're going to want or ask for or need. Because
you've seen it. You've done it for 15 years, right? So how did you, and I never got to ask you this, how did you come up with the concept for Port City Young Professionals?
So now that you're a member and you're on my onboarding sequence, you will get an email that tells me a little bit of, you get a little drips of my story through there. But I was fresh out of college. I was working for a small marketing, PR, and events company. I was a sponge. I was just soaking up everything. I wanted to learn. I wanted to, be one of these leaders in town that I saw. And the woman that I was working for at the time, like she was involved in all these things and was all these boards. And I was like, I want to be, one of these women, one of these people in town. So I started going to all these events, networking events, chamber events, and I was the youngest person by far at everything I was at. And I knew, because I was just out of college, I was 22, 23. I was like, I know there are other young people in this town that want to make a difference, that want to grow, that want to be leaders. How do I find them? And there was no young professional group that I could find. Turns out there are one that had started a month before PCYP. Oh. So the Wilmington Young Professionals started 1 month before Port City Young Professionals, but their marketing was not to a point where I was able to find them when I started Port City Young Professionals with a friend of mine named Sasha, who is no longer directly involved, but gets co-founder credit for starting PCYP. So I was working for an events company at the time, so my boss at the time, we used a venue that was one of our clients. It was called Surf's Bar and Grill. They're not around anymore. Now it's Johnny Luke's. So it was there in 2009. Was the very first event, April 2009. So we're coming up on 15 years next month. And she said we can ask them to provide free appetizers, and you just bring the people. Yeah. And so I didn't know a lot of people, so here's a good lesson. Find someone who knows the people. Give them an opportunity to show up or something that sounds exciting. So I used her list. I don't know anybody. My friends they left. 2008, the economy was rough. So they left. They were going to bigger cities. They were still working in service industry. So I was very lucky to be working in my profession. And so we used her database. We had probably about 16 people there. And small, but like intimate. And I had met some of the people, and we said, hey, if you guys like this idea, getting these types of people together, next event, we had already planned when the next event was going to be, bring one person.
Yep.
Bring one person. And it wasn't always as seamless as it is now, as like consistent, and you kind of know what you're going to get. We tried and tested it, a lot of things over the years, but that's how it started. And it was like, okay, we got a lot of people. We can't just send out a Gmail email reminder. Now we need a newsletter. Now we need a website. Now people are asking for all these other things. So it really has been organic. Just the community says what they want, or they become something that to be managed, to be managed, something else has to be created. So as a marketer, it's been my learning playground for 15 years. I'm like, I wonder if this will work. I'll try it with my group.
You're what I consider to be, and I tried to coin the term, a creative solution engineer.
I would not disagree with that. I like that.
Quote me on the first time. After that,
creative solution engineer. I need to write that down.
It's like, you have this group of people who are like, well, I need to know when the next event is, or can you send it to my email? And you're like, okay, give me all your emails. Okay, how do I get all the emails? Okay, I gotta create an email list, and I gotta go learn how to make a blog. I gotta learn how to make a newsletter. I've never made a newsletter before. Let me figure that out, right? And so the Port City Young Professionals has just been, incredible to, from when it started to what it is today. Like, if you go, it's crazy. There's like so many people. It's like you can't meet everybody there at one time. No. It's impossible. It's impossible. Like, you have like ambassadors, like ambassadors who like take you to like a different room that's still loud, and like there's so many new people, and it's not just business owners, it's young professionals who are just getting out of college. It is somebody who is looking for a new opportunity in their job, and they're stepping out there and they're going, what is this? And it's like, you can go there and be like, hey, I'm looking for this type of opportunity. This is the things I know. And then all of a sudden, like, you'll see all these people just, that's the person I've been looking for. And so you've created this environment where people can go learn about other people, learn how to support each other, and get great opportunities. So if no one's told you, thank you.
You're welcome. It has been a labor of love, and one of the things I'm by far most proud of in my life, because it started organically. A problem I wanted to solve for myself. Like, I want to find these people. I'm going to make myself a magnet. I'm going to create a space where the people who I think are going to think like me and have some of the same desires and dreams as me would want to go and meet up, and it's just evolved from there. And what you're talking about, that example of like, oh, you go to this room, people start connecting you, people start happening. That's the dream. That's what I want everyone to experience. Yeah. And we would get feedback from time to time of saying, oh, well, I wasn't welcomed in the way that I thought I was going to be welcomed, or I didn't leave with any business. Or you see my eye rolling. I'm like,
sure.
Wouldn't that be nice to just have a guarantee that you're going to leave with business?
I'm going to show up one time and just,
like, you paid $5 or $10 to come to this event. There's no guarantee. Yeah. But the guarantees are cool space.
Yep.
Cool people.
Yep.
Free food.
Yep.
Prizes.
Yep. Opportunity
to meet a new business owner or be introduced to a business, and volunteer and nonprofit opportunities. Those are guaranteed. Every event. If you miss out on those, it's because you weren't looking, but those are always there. But I've had some nasty emails that I have learned to just laugh at. People saying like, oh, I went and somebody told me that they already had somebody who does what I do. And they were like mad at me. I'm like,
this is not a B&I group.
Like, this is networking. Like, this is really, it's like it's a party with a very low barrier of entry. It's a networking group that's half party. It's social. We call it a social.
It's a social. It's a social 2 hours, hour and a half, whatever it is, and you get to meet people. And so, like, I went in there, and when they said, "What do you do?" And I was like, "I like to help small business owners scale, market, and grow for free. Business owners to just have the conversation, because people want to do business with people that are just authentic." And it's like, why did you create what you created? Why did you do what you do? And when you hear those stories and you start to understand the person, it's like, oh, I want to do business with that person because of that. And I use the prime example all the time. It's like, there's a place called Frameworks in Wilmington, and shout out to them. They didn't want to be on the podcast, but they're these two senior citizen, 67-year-old, maybe 68 now. Happy birthday if you haven't had a birthday yet. Ladies who do framing, and they've been doing it for 20 years. But Hobby Lobby's right around the corner. And Hobby Lobby has all this marketing, and they have all this stuff to get people. You want frames? Hobby Lobby. You want frames? If you go around the corner, you meet these two ladies. They are incredible people. And they will sit there and walk you through. And I had some stuff I was getting framed. And they took their time. And it wasn't just very transactional. It was taking the time. I would rather pay the extra $100 to support a local business than I would the big box retailer who's already had it figured out. Mm-hmm. And so the point of the podcast is to get those business owners to start to tell their story of why they do what they do and promote local business, because Wilmington is the number 2 place in the country to open up a small business. And there's so much opportunity here, which is why Port City Young Professionals, in my opinion, is so important. You can go and talk to a Chris Welch. You can go talk to somebody like you or somebody from Live Oak Bank and just talk to these people who are if you talk to Chris Welch, you would have no idea that he has 2 stores. Yes, it's one in Fayetteville, somewhere else. It's incredible that person just shows up and he's like, "Hey, I'm Chris." You're like, he's got a business acumen, and I got to pay $10 to go talk to that person. That's a steal in my eyes.
Well, Chris is another plug for him. He's actually an ambassador, so his information's on the website, and you can just reach out to him.
Yeah,
he's got to respond.
Yeah,
help you.
Yeah,
and he's signed up for that because he has a heart for helping businesses as well, and that's part of why he's been so successful. Because I met him when he hadn't been in business for too long. He had left his job.
It was at Live Oak Bank. Yeah, I just talked to him on Monday.
Yeah, and knew he wanted to be an entrepreneur and fell in love with this concept and believed in it and believed he was solving a major problem here. And PCYP was one of the first things he allocated his marketing budget to. And I think this will be his 3rd or 4th year in a row sponsoring, and everybody knows him.
Yeah,
in our community.
I was at the most recent one, and he was just walking around. I was like, "Dude, you're you're like a local celebrity. Everybody knows who you are." He's like, "Yeah, man, I just go to these network events. I love Port City Young Professionals. I love helping people." And he's like, "I like doing." And if you go watch his reels on Facebook, they're so well done. It's incredible. He's got such a good brain. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I would pay $10 a week to get the chance to talk to somebody like that for 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I love that perspective.
And so it's so awesome what has been built with Port City Young Professionals, because you're giving people the opportunity. And if people wouldn't view it as, I'm going to go in there and I better get something out of it, I better get money out of it, or this is a problem for me. And I try to teach people, and I think you're the same way, that if you understand what an opportunity actually looks like, the whole rest of the world opens up.
Yes. Mm-hmm. We preach it in the ambassador group, give first, lead by example. We put it in our emails about PCYP. We read it during the program of every event, like-minded professionals, give first mentality, to try to, and honestly, the example that I gave, it's very rare. It's very rare. A lot of times people, if it's not a good fit for them for whatever reason, they just don't come back, and that's okay. We have, 50% of the people are brand new every month. It's crazy. And then we have the repeat people, of course, but, and some people, it's just different seasons of their life or of their business where it makes sense to be at networking events regularly. But, whenever there's been an instance where, when somebody comes with their hand out, just asking for things, it feels a little bit icky versus and it's so much easier to network if I don't have to go there and know I have to get business. If you just go there and hey, I'm going to go and try to give 3 people advice, encourage 3 people, help 3 people. If you're nervous about an event, that's way easier to be I can do that.
Yeah.
But if you put the pressure on yourself, I've got to leave with a contract, that's never going to work. That's not how networking is.
It's like the spider. Anyway. It's like the Spider-Man meme where it's like 2 people. It's all right, you give me business, but I'm not going to give you business until you give me business. And they're like, well, I'm not going to give business. It's this weird thing. And then I go in and I'm like, what kind of business do you have? And they're like, I own this. And I'm like, okay, have you tried this, this, and this? And they're like, no. And I'm like, you should go try that. That'd be awesome if you did that. And who's the type of business, the client you have? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go find that person. And then I make it my mission before I leave that place to go connect their ideal client with them. And they're going, I need help with video production. And I'm like, okay, who does video production? I need to find someone with video production. And I'm like, hey, you video production? Come here, meet this person. Now kiss. And like just, and then go away, right? And then people go, well, who's this guy that's just trying to connect people? And I'm like, I'm Matt. That's what I do. I have a good one. And that pays major dividends. It's sometimes you're left with a goose egg, or something didn't go wrong or something didn't go right. But like I have found it pays major dividends in the long run. And that's who you're looking for in those ambassadors of like, I almost wonder, Jenna, how many businesses you have helped launch or helped get new opportunities through what you've done with Port City Young Professionals. Does that make sense? Yeah, have you ever thought about how many businesses have got an opportunity by going into that, or they have, because so like you said, some people are there for a little bit and then all of a sudden they get too busy. Mm-hmm. Well, it's probably because you help connect them in a way. It happens. Mm-hmm. What a great 100% happens. What a great feeling to have that's just, I love that.
We did a infographic at our 10-year of saying like how many people, how many members, how many events, how many businesses, how many nonprofits. But to say the amount of businesses is probably close to the amount of people, because so many people, there's not a ton of businesses that bring multiple people. Maybe like 10% of the businesses will bring more people. Yeah. Usually they're going to send one or two. So it wouldn't be that hard to find a range probably of how many businesses we've supported.
Can I come up with an idea that might be a horrible idea?
I love hearing potentially horrible ideas.
Okay, good, because I have a ton of them.
I'll poke holes in them. That's what I do.
Because I have a ton of them. So for like a new member, you should have it to where if it's a new member, like they do what they do, but then post that. It's like, hey, I know there's a ton going on. Why don't we do a lunch, or we do something that's a little bit smaller for the 15, 20 new people that are here? Why don't we all meet together and meet with some of the ambassadors and really get to know each other? So it's a little bit more quiet, a little bit more intimate.
Mm-hmm. I love that idea. We've dabbled in some things like that. Mm-hmm. It started in the pandemic when we couldn't meet in person, and we would have a separate Zoom call for people who joined in the last 3 months. And some really cool things happened in there, because there'd be, we try to get 2 or 3 ambassadors on there, and it just got to be because we would do live big networking events, and not everyone got to talk a lot.
Sure.
So you end up doing a lot of listening. But there was a lot of really cool ideas, and I met a lot of really cool people. I actually ended up hiring somebody during that time who I got to know because I was just getting so much individual time with them that had I just been bypassing at event, may not have. So, and we've had people express interest in that, and now is probably a good opportunity to test that again. Mm-hmm. Part of PCYP's, I'm the one pumping the brakes all the time on growth, because a lot of times I'm like, well, that's going to require me to be there, or that's another event that I'm going to need to be at, and
more thoughts and
and because it's also like somebody has to promote it, somebody has to follow up with everyone, someone has to be there, someone has to organize. It's just like a lot of administrative plus energetically. So you want to make sure that it's going to be well received. But I think it's a great idea, and right now is a great time because I've been doing a great job the last couple years of not doing everything myself. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a time I knew every member.
Right.
I realized that about about the 8th or 9th year I started. That's where the ambassadors started coming in. I'm like, I need more of me everywhere because I can't connect everyone. I can't even talk to everyone. So I do have some really amazing people on our team now that I think who understand networking, because that's actually I'm literally handing them tons of leads, contacts, potential friends on a silver platter, and saying, you get to be the magnet, you get to be the connector and show up and bring all these people together. Steve-O, who does the new connection section, it was actually another ambassador that had that idea. Like, why don't we have a place for brand new people where it's very hands-on and it's not just, walk up to whoever. And he is brilliant because he shows up every week or every month and owns that job. He's like,
he crushes it. He's like, yo, get over here. Like,
and everyone loves him. Everyone gets a ton out of it. But you know who gets a lot of new insurance clients? Steve-O.
Exactly right.
Right? But he's giving first. He's showing up. He's being proactive. He's helping everyone else make connections. And as a result of that, they're like, I like this guy. So what you're proposing is a great idea, would be a great idea for the right person or persons to kind of lead that locally. And I think could be, even if it was...
It's just like another, it's just like another, it's like, hey, no, that was a lot. To know that's a lot, let's take a little bit more time. Let's sit down and let's really get a chat over a lunch or a dinner or some kind of meeting, another smaller meeting gathering place, because then it will increase the chance of somebody coming back.
Sure.
Because a lot of times I found that when someone's voice isn't heard, or they think that they're saying something and it's going nowhere, that they get frustrated and they just give up. Mm-hmm. And so if you just take a little bit of time and just go, hey, let's really sit down and talk and like tell me your thoughts and what's going on in there. And they're like, oh my goodness, thank goodness I can finally talk to somebody, and I have this, then I have this, and I have this. And you can go, well, you need to talk to so-and-so, and you need to talk to so-and-so. And you can, again, connect those people. You probably didn't get to meet them because there were so many people and they get so busy, but like, I'm going to connect you with Chris. I'm going to connect you with this person. I'm going to connect you with this person, and really focus on those new people. It would just be, I think another cool idea, and this can be another dumb idea, is like every time there's a brand new person that you know is going to be there, when you're giving out the new stickers or like the I'm new, you should hand somebody like a golden ticket. That's like, hey, you're the person that has the golden one, right? And you tell people, hey, you have to meet the person with this, and then we're going to give you, it'll be a giveaway from one of the business that's sponsoring for that, massage or whatever it is. And it's like, so it forces everybody to be like, where's the golden ticket? And I want to meet every single person and connect a little bit more. Horrible idea.
No, I think that's super fun.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah. So I love how your brain works and how you're already trying to solve problems or like make things better.
Creative solution engineers. It's all I think about is how do I improve and optimize. So
one thing we do for new members is every new member, and this will happen for you since congratulations, Matthew just joined this week. You will get an email from it's from PCYP. It actually comes from Brianna. And it'll say, you have been matched with an ambassador. And it will give you an ambassador's name and phone number. And then it also emails the ambassador and says, you're new. We call them liaisons. So
sure.
You're a new liaison for Matthew. Here's the name of his business. Here's his email and phone. Reach out to him. Here's a number of ways you can reach out to him. But make sure to try to meet up with him at the next event. Sometimes it goes gloriously, perfectly. Ambassadors, they're volunteers. That's not a paid position. So sometimes things fall through the cracks. We try to follow up periodically and say, hey, has an ambassador reached out to you? So that one-on-one experience, that, white glove service, that's the closest thing we have to that now, is that an ambassador inviting you to coffee or saying, hey, are you going to be there tonight? I'll be there. Here's my number. Text me. I'm going to be wearing a polo or whatever, a colored polo, trying to meet up at an event. But we try to have, reach out to them in some way so that at least new people know that they could reach out to somebody individually and know at least one person at the next event. Or if they're not, that ambassador is not going to be there, they could say, who's somebody else I could look for. And each ambassador is maybe getting 1 to 2 a month. So it's not overwhelming for them, for new people. Because if I had to sit down with every new member, or even if one person, we get a lot. We get about 1 a day.
Wow. Yeah. So it's like it becomes tougher and tougher for the ambassadors who also has their own business that they're trying to run and be like, I got to make sure I said I was going to do this. I got to do this, but like I really don't this week's not good week. I'm going here. Or
it gets buried.
It gets buried.
But what's great is our ambassadors are smart, and part of why they're ambassadors is they know they're becoming magnets of people, for people to come to them. They don't have to necessarily have to walk around and go to people. People are coming to them to say, hi, I'm so-and-so, this is, what I do, and this is what I'm looking for. And so it's another opportunity. And a lot of our ambassadors are business owners or in sales or, real estate, insurance, in a position where every person they meet could become a client of theirs. They're not supposed to just walk around trying to ask for clients.
Sure.
They're supposed to help everyone. And of course, because you're helping everyone, as a byproduct, their business grows.
Yeah.
Right?
What a genius idea.
It all works together. And the fact that we're still around, it's working.
Yeah.
It's working.
Where do you see the biggest struggles as this, where was the biggest struggle when you first started, or like midway through? Like, was there ever a point where you're just like, I don't know, like, because it seems like it's at a point where it's kind of perpetual, where it's like it's just going to continue to grow.
Probably. So I was with that original company, and then I left and partnered in a small digital marketing agency. So we did websites, SEO, social media, email newsletter, too much for two people, really. And so I was doing that and getting that off the ground. It was early on. I was a young entrepreneur living in a basement, basically. So
as one does as an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was on the beach, but it was a basement nonetheless.
Right.
So lived in a basement, trying to start my own business. And I had PCYP and like all these boards and stuff I was volunteering on. So I was like, oh my God, I'm barely making enough money to survive. And I am, giving and doing all these things. So there were some things for a few months that kind of fell through the cracks, and we had a low attendance at some events. And what I realized is, and people were, the businesses were unhappy because we told them we were going to be bringing, and no one ridiculous, because it's not, it wasn't, nobody was awful, okay,
sure.
in any of this. I had guilt, okay, that was the most part of it. And so just realizing that I needed to build in a revenue model to PCYP, because I did it all for free for 5 years. So it was an expense. So I was paying, pay for name tags, pay for any of the marketing stuff. I was giving of my time to create the things, build the relationships, get the, and I had, I started to have people ask, hey, can I sponsor an event? And I'd be like, I don't know. Like, I feel weird taking your money.
Yeah.
You want to give me money, but I'm already doing this thing that I love. And so, there was a couple months where things really started to dip, and my bandwidth was really spread, that I was like, okay, I need to build a revenue model and turn this into a business completely separate from, this other business. And we launched a mobile app. We're like 8 years old, maybe. So it was a while. And that's when we started rolling out memberships, so people pay to be a member. There was, businesses could sponsor. So it took enough people asking to give me money
to finally be fine, give me money.
Well, I'm like, as a person of integrity, a business owner, I want you to give me money and I want to multiply it. Right? Like, I didn't want to take money, especially because we weren't that as consistent then with the turnout. Now I'm like, if we don't have 150 people, I can't even remember the last time we didn't have 150 people. So, we're much more consistent now. So I didn't want someone to give me money and then not the amount of people turn out that we thought, or them, and so, everything is very fair price. Like, I am not rolling in dough with PCYP. It pays for itself, right? Like,
sure.
It is a nominal expense. It's $35 the first year, $25 a year after that. We started charging for events. $2 a month. We didn't even charge for events until a few years ago because of COVID, because we needed to know the amount of people coming. We needed to know if we needed to have 2 sessions. We need to have 2 sessions of 45 people. It was a real pain in the ass to do events there for a while. We had to cancel a lot of events. So we were being very creative at that time. And so, but it actually, I realized by charging nominal, again, $5 for members, 10 for non-members, instead of having 40% of the people who signed up for the free event not show up, we only have like maybe 7 to 10% of people who pay that nominal fee not show up. So now we can tell a business, hey, we're going to have 200 people there next week, not.
Yeah, it's you can gauge it a little bit more and kind of understand your history there for the future. It's like, okay, 250 show, that 10%, I'm going to have 225 people be there.
Yeah. And we know about how many are going to sign up the day of. That was hard to tell before when everything was free. So it's made the business owners happier. Like they know how much food to prepare for, because the host provides that for free for the event. So that's kind of part of their in-kind donation.
And why would we want to support the connector of connectors, which is you? You're the connector of connectors.
Well, it helps you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. The more wins, if it's the businesses win, the attendees are winning, the people who work at the venue are winning, the nonprofits are winning. Like the more wins, like the happier everyone is. And then it's like, well, if one thing kind of drops, you're like, well, all these other things are really great. And I only spent $5.
Right.
I spent $10. Right. And I got some free food.
Yeah. I spent $5. I got some free food, and I met some people. Yeah. And you know what? Maybe you didn't get that, but maybe I should try again. Yeah. Maybe I should go next time, or whatever it is. Just
I don't like to hard sell anyone. Even in my own agency now, it's like I like to make things a no-brainer. We just went through a whole presentation that you built out, and it's like, yeah, you want a business to look at that and it'd be a no-brainer. Like I don't want to be successful because I'm good at like backing people in a corner and making them say yes, know, like that's not business. That's not fun.
My favorite thing to say is, okay, I just given you everything. You don't even need me anymore. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just gave you the blueprint on exactly what to do. Mm-hmm. You don't even need me. And they're like, well, I want to work with you. And I'm like, okay, let's figure that out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because and I say this all the time, I've been given information for free because I worked for companies and smarter people than me told me something, and I went, oh, I'm going to write that down, and mentors and the stuff that you said, I'm like, oh, I'm going to write that down. So why not just give it out for free anyways? Knowing 98% of people don't even listen. Only 2% of people do listen, and then the 1% that implement something, and that's the people that, like, so just continue to do what you're doing because it works, and it's so awesome. So again, I'm just super lucky to have you here today because you've done so much for the community of Wilmington, and I think you're like this unsung hero of Wilmington and help so many businesses launch. And again, it's the number two place in the entire country to open up a small business, and it's places like you and what you've built which makes that statistic actually possible.
Well, thank you. This town, this city has been very good to me.
It's such a wonderful little town. And Cody is like, I talked to Cody all the time. Like, he's like, dude, I just came here from, I'd say to UNCW, and I never left because this place is dope. If you ask Cody anything about Wilmington, he knows it. Like, what's the best breakfast spot? And he's like, Saltworks, hand down. I'm like, let me go to Saltworks.
Oh, we go the OG, the original breakfast.
Guess who's next door neighbors to Saltworks? My new house. I was like, hey, what's that? And they're like, oh, we own the Saltworks. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm a huge fan. Like, I'm not trying to fangirl, but like, I love your burgers, and he's the nicest guy in the world. And it's like, you have all these people around who are just great people, and just pour into them and support them, and they're going to support you, and they're going to figure out, like, how do I help that person? How do I help that person? And it's just such a wonderful little town that is like, it's like this little hidden gem on the map that no one knows about. And I keep telling people about it. I'm like, you should come to Wilmington. Don't tell them. What's crazy? It's growing. Like, you look at the airport. The airport size has doubled. Mm-hmm. It's bananas.
Had our best year ever at the airport.
Yeah, it's bananas. So it's just so cool to see Wilmington grow. And again, Jenna, from everybody that might be watching this, like, again, thank you for what you build at Port City Young Professionals. Like, I want to make sure that I help in any way possible. So if you ever want me to sponsor an event or become an ambassador or whatever it is, I don't know what that takes, but I also got you a gift.
Oh.
If you like sake,
Sure.
But this is an old vintage sake that I found.
What?
And look at this.
What?
Look at this thing.
Oh my gosh.
So
that's
for you.
amazing.
So the box is old, but look at the quality of that work. That's incredible.
Look at that.
I thought that was really cool, and I didn't know if you like sake or not, but I took a huge guess, and I think that's really cool and that you'd really like it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
What a unique gift. That's amazing. Yeah. I love it. I'm going to have to ask Chef Lee at Bento. He's the tells me all the things I need to know about sake, what he knows about it.
Well, if he says that's just a horrible sake,
I won't tell you.
don't ruin it for
I won't tell you.
But if he's like, that's the rarest sake in the world, then like we might need to talk. I'm just kidding. But no, thank you. I saw that at it was at a consignment shop. What's the name of it? It's a consignment shop somewhere in Wilmington. And I was walking around and I was like, what is this? I was like, this is incredible. I love consignment shops. You can find so much old stuff. And I'm like, this is the coolest place in the world. And it's like all these people from Wilmington, all these senior citizens are like, they want to sell all their cool stuff. And I'm like, this is $10. Like I found like a Michael Jordan signed, like.
You got to find the name of this and put it in the notes.
Oh my goodness. It's unreal. I found 2 of them and they were signed by Michael Jordan with a certificate of authenticity for $25. And I'm like, who's throwing this away? I was like, this is a steal. But I saw that and I was like, that's super cool. And so I figured, I don't know if you like sake, but I took a huge guess. So
yeah,
I don't know if you should drink it.
I can't right now.
Yeah, not right now. Please don't drink it right now. But I wanted to give you that as a gift from us to you. And just again, thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you for joining us. And that camera, or that camera, just tell the people what's going on in your life and how we can help you.
I would love to have you attend a Port City Young Professionals event. We are the 3rd Wednesday of every month at a really cool spot. And we usually have 150 to 200 people at every event. And a lot of people are brand new every time. It blows my mind. If you miss more than 3 events and you go to an event, you're like, oh my God, it's all new. But there's tons of people that come back. But it's a great way to dip your toe in networking, great way to meet new people, make new friends. A lot of people have found their forever person. I've found a lot of great friendships and a lot of romances have sparked there as well, too. I don't think I actually finished answering your question about when did things change or when did I have to make a change or when were things hard?
When were things tough?
Okay. So I explained how to monetize, right? Sure. So, and I feel like this is all going full circle with things we've talked about today. Because I keep saying solving problems. And you keep saying
creative solution engineering.
Creative solution engineering and opportunity. And so all of the things that were problems for me with PCYP were just opportunities that then made it better. Once a solution was found, that made it better for everyone, made it better for me, better for all the attendees, better for the town because it could sustain and grow. And I think as business owners, we're presented with so many opportunities on a daily basis that when you reframe your brain of, okay, this opportunity, solving this opportunity, creative solution engineering, then it changes the way you think about your business and think about solving those opportunities that come up. So
write that one down, folks. It's recorded.
That camera still working? Yeah. Did we get that?
Yeah. First time you say it outside of this, just quote her. After that, it's all yours.
Need to tidy it up, but y'all get the gist.
You get the gist. just solve problems. Figure out that when something does happen in your business, it's not like, okay, great. That's a problem. Okay, great. What do I do to solve it? And then what do I learn from solving it? And what opportunities came from it? Once you understand that about owning a business, it's no longer a job. It's just like going out and figuring out problems and solving problems. The biggest businesses in the world just solve the problem. That's it. Once you understand that, what's the problem that you keep having? You go, oh, I just solved that problem for this business, and then I can go to that business, tell them I solved the problem, and they're going to pay you to fix it. And that's it. So you just created a whole new business. So like, just go help people. Everybody that's watching this, just go help people, and you can solve a lot of problems and help a lot of people, man. It's the best thing in the world. So thank you again. Talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Hey, real quick, if you're watching this, if you've enjoyed this episode so far, please, please, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching on Spotify or anything like that, just hit the button, like let people know about it. Just share it out to one person. That's all I'm asking. Just one person. Let them see it, because it's the point of the podcast is teaching people marketing tips for free. The point of the podcast is to help business owners understand how to get their name out there. So it would mean the world to me if you would just one time, if you're on YouTube, like it, comment, subscribe. It helps the algorithm. If you're on Spotify or you're listening to this on a different podcast, take a second, share it out to somebody. It helps me a ton. Thank you.